All right, everybody, here we go. FranchisOR Bust. We're coming at you pre-recorded, not live, but it's all the same. We're really excited to welcome an expert in the world of franchising so we can all learn from him and understand a lot about his journey and successes and what he's been able to accomplish. So today we have with us Chris Stonis, founder of Elite Window Cleaning, and he is going to be talking to us not only about that brand that he started way back in 2005 up to in our neighbors to the north in Canada, but the exciting new development of bringing a new brand here to the United States. So Chris, Katie and I are pumped to have you. How you doing?
I'm doing awesome, guys. Thank you so much for having me. This is really great. Looking forward to chatting.
Fantastic. Well, I introed a little bit. Obviously, we know we're going to be talking about the world of window cleaning and franchising and how that came together. So, if you wouldn't mind, Chris, tell us a little bit about your story, how you got started in the business, and then ultimately, as a founder, what led you to start thinking about franchising?
Yeah, that's a great question, and it's a long-winded one to unpack. So keep me between the lines, and I'm going to go way back. I'm going to go back to before window cleaning to set the stage here. So before I was a window cleaner or a franchisor or a CEO or really an entrepreneur, I worked in the music industry, and I was really, really, really dedicated to my craft. I worked on the recording side of things. And for my entire life, I climbed this mountain and I worked towards being at the top of an industry. And I managed to find myself there at a really young age. I was 22, 23 years old, and I was working at one of the best studios in the world with Grammy-winning artists. I worked for Bryan Adams. I worked with Michael Bublé, some really amazing artists. And what I realized was it wasn't where I ended up that I was chasing this whole time. It was the climb. It was that ascension. It was that effort that went into my every single day that actually fulfilled me. So I was at a really young age, and this will tie into window cleaning, I promise. And I had succeeded everything I'd tried to work towards, and I was totally lost at the top of this mountain, going like, oh man, I love the idea of what I'm doing, but I'm not finding true passion in what I'm doing here. And so I made a really hard decision to leave that career, leave a career that most of my peers thought I was crazy for leaving. My family thought I was crazy. Everybody thought, this is what you've wanted. You've gotten it. Why are you pivoting? And I decided to walk home that day. And I was living in Vancouver at the time in British Columbia, Canada, and decided to walk home. And walking through downtown Vancouver, I saw a window cleaner. I saw a high-rise window cleaner, to be specific. And I thought that person looked so free and so happy to be doing their job. And it was the exact opposite of a dark recording studio that I had spent, the last years of my career in. And I thought, this is going to be an interesting way to pay the bills for a period of time till I figure out what is next in my life, because I have just walked away from my dream job. So on the very day that I left what I thought was my dream job, I discovered this new way of earning a living, and I immediately fell in love with the act of cleaning windows. There was an instant gratification to it. There was opportunity really everywhere I looked. Like, the world is made of glass. There is glass everywhere. And I thought, man, it's not sexy, but I could sink my teeth into this and potentially have a career and turn it into something and be an entrepreneur. And in that moment, I realized that in entrepreneurship, I could continue climbing as long as I wanted. I never had to be at the top of a mountain because there was always bigger goals. I could always be more audacious than in where I wanted to take this business. So I worked for, 6 years in the industry for various companies, traveled all over the world, got to learn as much as I could about the industry, and then started Elite Window Cleaning with a borrowed car and a bucket and an idea that I could make the world's best window cleaning company as an entrepreneur. Franchising was not on my radar. I just wanted to do things different. I wanted to seize the opportunity and build something truly amazing. And over the first few years of Elite, we grew like crazy. The opportunity was just so abundant. As I said, like there's glass everywhere. And we focused on technology because window cleaning hadn't had a technological update since the squeegee was patented in 1936. So it was like, holy, look at this. The whole world's evolving and this whole industry is just stuck, coming up on 80 years ago at the time and hasn't had an evolution. So we looked at technology to change the way that windows were cleaned. And that was like a big, hairy goal. Like that was as big as they get. How are you going to come up with a new way to execute on such an old trade? And we developed a tech that allows us to clean up to 6 stories from the ground and guarantee the results, guarantee perfect windows up to 6 stories high. And it was a total game changer because it reduced the labor footprint that it took to execute the job. It increased our hiring pool. All of a sudden, we didn't need broad shoulders and brute strength to execute on the work. We could hire based on customer service aptitude. And our whole business, at the time was just one location, just blossomed in every direction. We also focused on the back end technology. So how was the buying experience? At the time, it was call the window cleaner. He comes out, gives you a quote. You buy window cleaning or you don't. And we thought, well, I want to buy it like I buy my dog food, which is on Amazon. And I want to buy it from the internet and I want to flat rate things. And we want to be openly transparent to a fault with our pricing so customers know what they're buying. At the end of the day, our hypothesis was if we work on the front end of the business to change the way it's executed on, and we work on the back end of the business to change the way it's consumed, we can actually change this entire industry. And that's exactly what happened. And franchising came in 2017. Our business was just so optimized. We thought we almost like when I say we, it's because this wasn't a one-man lift. This was my entire team. Everyone that works here put their fingerprints on this. And we looked at it and said, we need to bring this to other people. We need to share this with other window cleaners. Like you almost felt guilty of how well our business executed compared to our competitors and compared to our peers in the industry. And then we found franchising, and I'm going to tie this back to the love of the climb that I had when I was in that, young, naive state of wanting to be in the music industry. Franchising was my opportunity to climb indefinitely. I could meet owners, bring them in, climb with them, get them to a place where they never dreamed they could go in this industry, and then rinse and repeat with new owners over and over again. And it was just unbelievably, aligned with my personality. And we really fell in love with it. And we launched our first cohort of franchise owners. They became household names in their territories, just like we had seen. And the model delivered exactly as we'd expected. And that kind of brings us to today. And this is such a long story, and I apologize, but like it's so important to set the table for this conversation. In 2022, we were actually acquired by Happy Nest Brands, which was so far and long beyond my wildest dreams when I had a borrowed car in a bucket and wanted to change an industry. That's a group of brands that I looked up to. I look up to anyone who's an entrepreneur. I actually look up to anyone who's a window cleaner. Like I'm very, very open to everyone's on their journey, but I had looked up to Happy Nest Brands as kind of the pinnacle of what responsible franchising looked like. And I couldn't believe that they were looking at us. And we had an incredible synergy. We had an incredible like-mindedness between the leadership team there and the leadership team that we have here at Elite. And so we were acquired. And what that acquisition created was a situation where we're launching a new brand called Sparkle Squad. It's a mirror image of Elite, and it's down in the United States. And I think the unicorn situation with Sparkle Squad is we have Happy Nest Brands, 55 years of responsible franchising. We have a decade of honing these processes and everything that goes into creating what we've created with Elite. And we have 100% white space in the United States. I think that's like this trifecta of perfection that just is so unusual in this industry. And if you can't tell, I'm incredibly passionate and excited about kind of where we are today. So That's the long version of a very short, succinct question you
No,
asked.
no, but that's what we're here to know, and it's so fantastic. It's always great to speak to entrepreneurs because a lot of what you're saying there is just that general belief in yourself of like I can
Mhm.
go do something unreasonable. I mean that's a lot of what being an entrepreneur is I can accomplish something that's not reasonable. And I mean in a similar way to your story, you left your dream job and then found something even better. I mean Katie did the same thing. She was an international star. Katie Curry was a lot of her, her albums. And she's like, if I go be Trevor's assistant, I think, and the rest is history. And then now she's in a new dream job.
It's true.
Yeah.
Mirror image story.
That's right, mirror image. Well, Chris, it's so cool, man, that you're able to not only create a business that's successful, but I think this lends itself a lot to maybe why you were acquired, why you got such a bright future now ahead of you with coming to the United States and all those things. Is you really took a step back and said, how can I be different? What can I do? It's something similar for anyone that's started a business or is at the franchisor level. There's a lot of franchise brands that can provide a similar service or they have similar characteristics to other brands. There's got to be something you're always thinking of to be unique. And you mentioned leveraging technology and whatnot. Is that still are you still kind of thinking along those terms of like how can we continue to push the envelope? What is maybe something we're bringing to the States with Sparkle that's going to be unique or different? Maybe talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, it's just in my DNA. I am a builder. I'm a question the norm person. It's just who I am. So, if I ever stop iterating, it's because I'm in a pine box. Like that's just how this is. That's how I'm wired up. And when we had the opportunity to set the stage for Sparkle, it was how can we take all this knowledge from Happy Nest and all the amazing founders, and I know you've spoken to other Happy Nest CEOs and founders on this podcast, and how can we take my experience of this team, harness that all at a single point, and create something that's even better than the sum of its parts? And so what we're bringing with Sparkle Squad is the technology was as dialed as we could get it in Elite. And then post acquisition, we had free reign of a manufacturing facility because Lawn Doctor manufactures all their own equipment. And it was like, wow, we can take this and level it up. We can take that and level it up. So our job pod that goes out, that's what we call our service vehicles. It's equipped to do every single service offering that the franchise has all day long without needing to tie into water. It's like, we offer window cleaning, well, water fed window cleaning, everything is in that vehicle to be optimized, and everything from a powered hose reel that you don't think about the minutes and seconds it takes just to coil up the hose after the end of the job, to we offer gutter cleaning, and we've been doing gutter vac camera operated services so that our gutter cleaners can do it from the ground and be way more efficient than our competitors. And then the Happy Nest effect was, let's put an engine on it and let's do like a gas powered gutter vac that has an incredible CFM. So now our franchise owners can walk around with a camera, clean out the gutters on an entire property in minutes. And the customer still receives that disproportionate value. So we're able to be price leaders and quality leaders and profit leaders all at the same time for our franchise owners because we've taken the time to iterate again. So it's a great way of tying it together. And I'm glad you asked the question because Sparkle Squad is just the amplification of a bunch of really smart, kind, caring people taking my vision and evolving it to the real big stage. Let's disrupt. Like when you're setting out to disrupt an industry across the United States of America, that is no small feat. And it is something that we spent a year just designing the deliverables. So it's been a real amazing time putting this together.
I know that's music to a potential franchisee's ears to hear. You're leading in being able to price effectively. You're leading in the actual quality of what's being done, and it throws a lot to the bottom line. Somebody really smart in franchising used to preach all the time at his brands that he was the founder of. He would always tell the franchisees, it's not about what you make, it's about what you take. And franchisees understanding that, yeah, we're going to give all these services, but we're going to do it. We're going to leverage technology and create efficiencies to really drive home profitability.
That's our nautical North Star, is like everything in our business is franchise owner profitability. One thing we don't hide from, and I think it's like franchising got a little off the track in the 90s and early 2000s, and it's coming back to center, is this is a very symbiotic relationship. Like I don't hide from the royalty income stream, because the only way I get an income stream is if my franchise owners are successful. So we speak very, very openly about, we want you to be successful so that we both win. You know, it's really a beautiful industry when you think about the symbiosis of the relationship. One can't exist without the other being successful, and vice versa. So our coaching calls are all, you know, we have a bracket system inside our business where we coach to where the franchise owner is from a revenue standpoint, so that they can elevate to the next coaching platform in the next revenue band. And we try to get our franchise owners as quickly as possible to go one revenue band to the next, you know, increasing their top line really, really quickly. And because of the technological advantage, the bottom line scales linearly in this business, which is unusual, you know, in general. So it's very, very curated around success at the operator level, because we openly know and talk to our owners about, we can't be successful if you're not successful. Franchise fees are not the mechanism for real success in franchising. It is royalty income stream. And you don't get that if you have franchise owners that aren't successful, because then they're not growing and they're not happy. And it's really, that was a happiness philosophy that was one of the many things that aligned when we met. Was they're all about unit level profitability. And I know in my core, that's what drives a successful system.
Yeah, no doubt. And I think you're really highlighting a great point in franchising as well, is that the franchisor's level of investment and care in the success of the franchisees, it is what builds the brand. I mean, yep. the brand. So right now, like you mentioned, there's a high demand for the category of service you provide. So lots of windows, people need them cleaned. There's kind of endless. You know, if you say, I'm going to buy a portion of the Chicago DMA for Sparkle Squads, like, okay, well, you got a lot of opportunity, to clean a lot of windows. A lot of people know they need the service, but not many people might not know the brand. But as the franchisees grow, as the franchisor conversely grows, the ability then to gain recognition for the brand and drive it even at that franchisor level becomes even, certainly much improved. And I think that, that can be lost occasionally on franchisees. Say, well, I don't want to pay all these royalties, and I do this and I do that. It's like, well, a good franchisor is going to say, hey, you're paying these royalties. Yes, I'm getting rich off them. Good for me. But I'm also going to do the following things for you. And this is going to improve our brand. Talk a little bit about just kind of your philosophy on how to, how you help drive, great brand recognition through, it could be through customer service, could be through advertising, all kind of different things. But how you drive that effectively so that the franchisees really understand, what their value adds.
What the value is, dude. We're so in sync. That's a great perspective. So one of the things is, in the industry, it is as fragmented as industries get. Every town, city demographic usually has 5 to 15 window cleaning service providers, and they all have a really small sliver of the market share, and they all focus on different things. And one of the things we did right out of the gates, because my initial experience was in commercial, we understand that. So we built this around 3 verticals, and this will answer your question, I promise. The verticals are residential, your low hanging fruit. So you get into this business, you get cash flow positive insanely quickly because residential just happens. And we have a full centralized marketing. We mandate a significant marketing spend so that we can get you cash flow positive as quick as possible. The second is commercial. So if you think everything from storefronts to hotels to car dealerships, we have a full strategy around acquiring, getting the repeatability on those commercial accounts, and growing that part of your business. And then the longest pole in the tent that we coach from day one, but usually takes the good part of the first year to gain traction, is institutional. So we have strategies around, our biggest projects are, we do across the system, multiple university campuses, every piece of glass inside and out. So you can imagine the size of those contracts. And we have a vertical to coach our franchise owners on hospitals, municipal infrastructure, universities, colleges. And what we do is we make sure that in every one of those verticals, our franchise owner is on the path to disproportionate market share. So because it's so fragmented, if we focus on all of those verticals simultaneously, what we see is our franchise owners become market dominant really, really quickly. And we're able to establish a brand because there's just frankly no Coca-Cola, there's no Pepsi, in our industry, there really hasn't been anyone that has planted a national or international flag. So we're able to create inside a market a level of brand awareness that is just disproportionate to our footprint, because inside the market, in those verticals, we're covering all the bases. So it happens in a way that inside the first couple years, I would say inside 2 years, anyone interested in your services in any of those verticals will know your name. And then what we do is we use PR, we use we do charity cleans. We do the superhero day at the hospital where we clean the pediatrics ward dressed in costumes. We do all these things to cement our owners in their market as not only market leaders, but part of the fabric of their territory. They become institutionalized in their territory. And then, just direct value. So this is all the coaching stuff and what we aim to do but what the direct value is, we offer a back office support system. And where that came from was I grew a very, very large multi-7-figure business inside my market in the corporate shop in the early days before we franchised. And we whiteboarded that whole experience out and went, what could we have done for me that would have shortened the success path, increased the wins, dodge some of the potholes. You're going to hit potholes. This is life, but dodge some of the potholes and put me on a faster track to get to where I am today. And what we came up with was we offer centralized media. So the media is super dialed in across the system, same language, same customer avatars, market to market, there are slight differences. We offer a call center that takes every single incoming call, and they only are trained on converting our jobs. That is it. That is right to the room on the right-hand side of me where I'm sitting right now. And we convert at just above 80% on all incoming calls. So, people will go, wow, that's crazy. That's a really high number. But if you think about it logically, and this is why we whiteboarded out the experience, nobody calls the window cleaner if they don't want to buy window cleaning. That's just a fact, right? Like nobody picks up the phone and calls the window cleaner. So we flat rated our prices. We built things based on square footage. We offered everything a la carte. So when you did call the window cleaner, Katie's calling and saying, I have this need or that need. We are saying here is the exact price for that need. Here is the day we can schedule you on. And would you like to move forward? And we're able to convert at an insanely high level so that our franchise owners can work on growing their business and keeping up with their capacity rather than scrapping to, take a note down or go do a quote. So it's all been built intentionally, back to your earlier point, to drive value at the unit level. How can we get them disproportionate market share at a profitable, in a profitable way as quickly as possible?
That just resonates so highly in the world of franchising, and that's the reason you've been successful. You're treating it, trying to cover all bases and let the franchisee focus on how do I grow, how do I service my customers? Because I imagine once you get up and running, recurring, repetitive business and recurring customers is really what kind of drives. You always want new, and you're always growing, and you always bring on new customers, but once you've been a franchisee in an area for a year or two, a lot of that repetitive business, I'm sure, is key.
You got it. It's like, being Canadian, we think about it like a snowball. It's like your customers are like a snowball. And when you're packing that little snowball in your hand and you roll it till it's 10 feet wide, that snow that you started with is still in the very center. And that's how we think of our customer base. Is we want to offer an amazing, like, our core values are perfect windows, delighted technicians, happy customers. And that is it. If you have those three things, you have everything. So we aim to teach our franchise owners to keep their core customers so happy that they repeat, inside, spring, fall. We offer siding cleaning if they ever have the need. We do spring windows, fall windows, gutters in the fall. And get in, again, it's about being institutionalized in the fabric of your customer's life, solving that need, being kind about it, giving back, being fair in our pricing. And then that snowball just starts growing. Honestly, the biggest challenge that we see is franchise owners needing capacity. It's less about starving for the next job and more about, we're coach really heavily on it, but capacity can be, restrictive at times. So we really focus on making sure that we're coaching out 4-6 weeks so our franchise owners can keep that ramp. So yeah, it's customer retention is critical, and you only get that if you're a good person and do an amazing job.
Well, it's pretty evident based on our conversation that you're a good person and you're doing a good job. And man, I'm impressed, and so is Katie, and we've been delighted to have you on. And what we're really excited about is the future. So, maybe leave us with a quick thought about Sparkle Squad and how you're going to take over the United States.
Well, quick thought would be, and if you've picked up on a theme, I don't have quick thoughts. Sorry. No, the theme would be, honestly, we're doing something different. And if you're somebody who wants to be a pioneer, if you're listening to this and you think, I want to be part of something different, I want to be part of some change, I want to do something for myself in an industry that is everywhere. Yes, it's not sexy, but I will say to anyone listening, it's a ton of fun. It is a ton of fun doing what we're doing. And just reach out. Sparklesquad.com is the website. You can find us on LinkedIn or really any of the social platforms, and reach out to our development team, because we're looking for empire builders across the United States right now. And we're not trying to be in a specific market. What we're trying to do is work with a specific type of person. And that's a good person who wants to grow a big business and, plant their flag on something different.
Outstanding. Well, Chris Stonis, we really appreciate you. It's been fantastic catching up and understanding your story and understanding how you've been able to take your concept and build it into a successful franchise brand. And that's really something that is unique. Not everybody's able to do that. So congratulations to you. And we're looking forward to all your future growth and success. And if you have any parting words, now's the time.
I would just say, Trevor, Katie, thank you for having me on. And for anyone who listened to this podcast, thank you for listening. This is an amazing journey that we're all on together. So let's, get in touch if you're interested.
Outstanding. Well, that'll wrap it up for us, everybody, at FranchisOR Bust. FranchisOR Bust is sponsored this week and every week by the world leader in programmatic advertising for franchise brands, Stackadapt. Please visit them at stackadapt.com to learn more about how they can help your franchise brand grow with their excellent advertising solutions. Or call me or Katie. Hey, we work with Stackadapt all the time. LSM is happy to provide the services that Stackadapt provides to franchisors and franchisees alike. So it's been a thrill. Thank you so much, Chris, and everybody. We will see you, and you'll hear from us on the next FranchisOR Bust.